Hello, everybody. Daniel Gotera alongside Jeremy Booth, President and CEO of the New Balance Future Star Series. We are done, wrapped up in Hartford, Connecticut. A very, very productive 3 days for the Fresh 50 and Underclass Premier. Initial thoughts of what you saw from a pretty talented group?
A lot of thoughts. I don't know how many initial ones there are. I probably had about 30
That's
initial
top 2 or
thoughts.
3.
Yeah,
let's go there.
Talent, didn't make me a liar. Let's say that. Selecting these players to get here and running them through the process of why we're collecting their data, all the things that we do. It was a good weekend. Now, when it comes to how the game was played, there was some opportunity. The kids maximized every one they got. I thought the bats improved and the defense improved and the pitching improved. And it's fun when you can look at the game from that lens on the other side and have some pro people, former big leaguers and guys that are currently involved in Major League Baseball at an executive level come in the building and say, man, there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of talent here. These guys can play. I can see them here. I can see them there. And those are wins, and the boys deserve it.
One of your coaches, Jason Phillips, was having a conversation with me, and the games did get better. They progressively got more competitive. The guys were into the game, and he and I were talking about just letting them also be kids, have fun at the same time while growing. I think those kind of meshed hand in hand this weekend. They got more comfortable with one another. They started to play a little bit better, taking things seriously, but at the same time, also having a good time.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. When it comes to how they are enjoying themselves as kids, that's different than throwing bats 900 miles, and it's different than wearing 17 towels out of the back of their pocket. There's nothing wrong with some of that stuff in the right place. This just isn't it. This culture here is driven on accountability. It's driven on freedom to be who you are and expressing this, but it's also centered around what it means to become something as a player in this game. And it's easy to walk in and ride a guy off because he takes 17 steps when he hits a ball far. It's easy to walk in and say no to a player when he doesn't do a number of things. And part of that, most of that has to do with how they carry themselves. And so when it comes to having them be a kid, yeah, they got to be a kid. When it comes to how they learn how to do that within the structure of becoming a pro, future pro, hopefully, certainly a college athlete on the way there, yeah, that works too. So, our staff does a good job of corralling that. Jason, as good as anybody I've ever met as far as letting these kids be kids and still grow. And, look, you can say this thing about 22, 23, 24-year-olds in the big leagues. They're still kids,
right.
So it's a different level of that. And the boys found a pretty good balance.
Always learning, always taking away something from the coaching staff. That's one of the things that the players, the award winners, told me during their interviews, is that they just appreciated the development and the words of encouragement that they got, and also the teaching. And you got to be pretty proud to hear something like that.
This is the best development staff we've had. We've had some good teachers. We've had Benji Gill here. We've had Roberto Kelly here. We've had Kenny Harvey here. Kenny's back involved in the West Coast and the Southwest, regional group. We've had some guys that have gone on and done Jose Silva internationally. I mean, some really good teachers. And then we've had, some things that just weren't a fit, right? And if they're not a fit, there's any number of reasons. One of the things we talk about all the time is cohesiveness and chemistry. And, I don't tolerate, I say this with love, I don't tolerate going around other people to accomplish your own personal goal because it compromises the organization. I'm not going to go with that. And there's a lot of stuff I see, but I don't act on right away because it's just not on the priority list. The priorities have to come first and righten the ship. And over time, we've got the best group we've got. We've got people teaching analytics and movement science and how to relate it, how to translate it. And a lot of the guys who've been from the beginning are still here. But man, the pieces that we've added are pretty good. It's nice to be able to walk away from a game and not feel like you have to say anything.
Yep.
It's nice to be able to, come to the ballpark, and not have to watch the development work. Not that I didn't. I watched some of it, but it was nice to be able not to have to.
But you're relying on pretty experienced people.
To have staff that is part of that culture instead of always finding a way to try to detract from what's going on for personal gain.
Right.
And that happens in every business and every relationship, is that people can sometimes get more focused on themselves than they do about the group. If the group does well, everybody does well.
Yep.
The group does what it does well. And here, even with you joining the team and Mike Orta behind the camera joining the team, we're better than we were yesterday. We're better than we were a couple days ago. And it feels like it's a pretty good place. It's easy to get comfortable in this setting. But I'm going to just keep my discipline and not do that. I'm going to keep challenging people here, myself, and the people around us to get better as we roll into tomorrow in the Dominican Republic, and then, back, of course, into Globe Life.
It's a pretty good table setter for the main event, I would say, here in Hartford. Great facility. Like I mentioned earlier, this is my first time here. We got great weather.
Yeah.
So shout out to Hartford, the Yard Goats, everybody with the Rockies organization. Top-notch operation from start to finish.
Absolutely, and I want to thank the scouts that we've had for helping us continue to assemble the right players and personnel. People will change. They'll come in and out. Sometimes people are fit, sometimes they're not. But our scouting department, Butch Bacala, Pat Murphy, Anthony Arango, Alan Sandberg, Robbie Moen, of course, Anthony Perry, tying things together. It's Jeff Edwards. It's been an exceptional group to work here, and veteran guys that have a lot of presence, and of course the schools, San Jack, Corey Kohler, and Houston Christian, and the Houston universities that helped us move along to get here. So it's been a collective effort, and we appreciate it.
All right, that's a wrap from Hartford, Connecticut. Jeremy, we will see you in a couple of weeks at Globe Life and in Frisco. That should be pretty fun. The main event, so much baseball left in front of us. We'll talk to you soon.